Imagine a big city slowly disappearing. This is happening right now in Jakarta, Indonesia. Sari Dewanti lives there. 15 years ago, her front door was on the street. Now, that same door is 3 feet under the water when the sea is high. The street where motorcycles once drove is now like a murky canal. Sari and millions of other people in Jakarta live with this problem every day. Their city is sinking very fast, about 10 inches each year. Many people think cities near the sea sink because the sea level rises. But for Jakarta, the main reason is different. The city is sinking because people have used too much water from under the ground. Jakarta has 10 million people. For decades, they have taken fresh water from big underground spaces called aquifers. Millions of wells, from small hand pumps to large industrial ones, have steadily drained these ancient stores of water. As the water goes away, the land above it starts to fall down into the empty space. Scientists call this subsidence. Jakarta is sinking faster than other famous cities like Venice or New Orleans. Jakarta's problem is very serious, and it shows us a future that many other places might face. It is like a warning sign for the world. We are quickly getting close to something scientists call peak water. This is a point where we cannot take more water from under the ground without big problems. These problems can be about money or harm to nature. Water under the ground is like a hidden ocean. It took thousands of years for this hidden water to fill up, but we are using it up in just a few decades. This problem is not just for Jakarta. It is happening in many places around the world. Our modern way of life often depends on taking water from under the ground. We have used it to grow food in dry places and to give water to very large cities. But this has a hidden cost. Scientists use special satellites like those from NASA to see how much water is under the ground. These satellites show that the amount of fresh water under the ground has dropped a lot. One study from 2024 says that we will reach global peak water around the year 2050. After this, we will not be able to take out more water each year. This means we must make big choices now. We must decide if we will manage this water problem smartly or if we will face big problems like not enough water and conflict. 2. Our hidden water. When we think about water, we usually imagine rivers, lakes, and streams. These are important, but they make up only a small part of the fresh water on Earth. Most of our planet's liquid fresh water, about 98%, is hidden deep below the ground. This unseen water is stored in large underground spaces called aquifers. You can think of an aquifer like a giant sponge. It is made of porous rock, sand, and gravel that can hold water and let it move slowly. Some aquifers are like shallow bathtubs that get refilled often. Rain and melting snow seep down through the soil and fill these aquifers. We call these renewable aquifers because nature fills them up regularly. They keep a natural balance with water flowing in and out. However, Other aquifers hold fossil water. This water collected over thousands or even millions of years, often under very different climate conditions than today. This fossil groundwater cannot easily be refilled on any human timescale. When we pump it out, it is gone for good. It is a very limited resource, much like ancient oil or mineral deposits. Humans rely heavily on this hidden water for our modern lives. It supplies about 1/3 of all fresh water used by people around the world. It also supports about 40% of all farming globally, helping us grow the food we eat every day. Our big cities and many industries also use this underground water for drinking, cleaning, and making things. Groundwater offers a steady and reliable source. Unlike rivers that can dry up during droughts, this hidden supply is often available on demand. It doesn't evaporate easily, and it sits conveniently close to where people need it. For a very long time, this hidden ocean beneath our feet seemed endless. It has truly been the backbone of global civilization. But now, we are taking this water out much faster than it can be refilled naturally. Understanding this hidden water and its limits is the first important step in facing a very big challenge for our future. 3. The end of easy water. Peak water is an important idea. It means that getting water from under the ground becomes very hard and expensive. When people take too much water, the water level goes down. This forces them to dig wells much deeper. To get water from these deep wells, stronger machines are needed. These machines use more energy, making it costly to pump the water up. The easier water is gone, and only hard-to-reach water is left. This makes water more expensive for everyone, from farms to cities. Scientists are watching this problem using advanced tools. They use special satellites from NASA, the U.S. Space Agency. These satellites measure tiny changes in Earth's gravity, which helps them see how much water is hidden underground. Their findings show that water levels are falling in many places. For example, between the years 2015 and 2023, the total amount of fresh water in the world greatly decreased. This was like emptying a very big lake, Lake Erie, more than 2 times over. Much of this lost water was from underground sources. One important study says that the world will reach global peak water around the year 2050. This does not mean all the water will be gone. Instead, it means that after 2050, the fastest rate at which we can take water from underground will stop growing. After that point, the amount of water we can get each year will start to go down. This pattern is expected in almost all possible futures, the study explains. This big change is happening very fast, within one human lifetime. Our grandparents believed there was endless water underground. But our grandchildren will live in a world where this hidden water is clearly limited. This rapid change is one of the quickest and most important shifts in a natural resource that people have ever seen. It means we must quickly change how we think about and use water to support our lives and our world. 4. How we used too much. Long ago, people knew water was special. They used it carefully. In ancient times, engineers built smart systems called qanats. These were like long, gently sloping tunnels underground. They moved water from mountains to cities and farms without using machines. Only gravity helped the water flow. These systems worked well for hundreds of years. People shared water and managed it together. They understood that water underground was limited and important. They built their societies to live within nature's rules for water. This wise way of using water lasted for a very long time. But then new inventions changed everything. In the late 1600s, a pump called the centrifugal pump was invented. It could lift water from deeper places than ever before. For a while, it was just a new tool. But in the late 1800s and early 1900s, two big changes happened. First, these pumps started to be made in large numbers. Second, electricity came to many rural areas, especially to farms. Suddenly, farmers could drill deep wells. They could use electric motors to pump a lot of water very quickly. What used to need many people working together could now be done by one person with a machine. This technology made it easy to get huge amounts of water from underground. At the same time, the world's population was growing fast. More people needed more food. This led to something called the Green Revolution. This was a new way to grow food that promised to feed everyone. It used new types of crops that grew a lot. But these new crops needed a lot of water, and they needed it all the time. So the Green Revolution started to use a massive amount of groundwater. Groundwater, which was once a backup for dry times, became the main source for farms. In one country, India, the number of deep wells went from about 1 million in the 1960s to more than 20 million today. Farmers began to use every farm for growing more food, and each farm needed its own well. This brought a lot of food, but it also used huge amounts of water hidden underground. Governments also played a big role in using too much water. In many places, laws said that if you owned land, you could pump as much water as you wanted from under it. People did not need to think about their neighbors or people in the future. This made everyone pump as much as possible, as fast as possible. It was like a race to empty the water underground. Also, governments made electricity very cheap, or even free, for farmers to pump water. This meant farmers had no reason to save water. They just kept pumping. For example, some countries spent a lot of money to grow crops in deserts, using old, stored water that could not be replaced. These choices encouraged everyone to waste water because it seemed like there was always more, and it cost almost nothing to get it. 5. Empty wells and sinking land. When too much water is taken from under the ground, the land above can fall down. This has happened in California, a state in the United States. In an area called the Central Valley, farmers have used a lot of underground water for their crops. Because of this, the land has sunk a lot. In some places, it has gone down by as much as 28 feet. This caused damage to roads and buildings. Farmers had to drill new wells that were much deeper, sometimes more than 1,000 feet down. Some even went 2,000 feet deep, which is taller than a very tall building. Families like Maria Herrera's, who farmed almonds, saw their old wells run dry. Their family well, used for 100 years, stopped working. This made it very hard for them to grow food. India also faces big problems. In a part of India called Punjab, many farmers depend on underground water. They used it to grow more food during what was called the Green Revolution. But now, their old wells are becoming dry. Farmers like Harwant Singh Uluk remember their father's well finding water at 20 feet. Today, they must drill 300 feet or more, but often find no water. The water under the ground in Punjab is going down by half a meter every year. Most of the wells there are now taking out too much water, more than the ground can put back. Another example is Saudi Arabia. Many years ago, this desert country wanted to grow its own wheat. They used very old water from deep under the ground, called fossil water. This water had been there for thousands of years. For 20 years, Saudi Arabia grew a lot of wheat, even sending some to other countries. Satellite pictures showed green circles of farms in the brown desert, but they used too much water too fast. By the year 2008, Saudi Arabia had to stop growing wheat because the ancient water was almost gone. Most of that old water, which took forever to fill, was used up in just 40 years. In Arizona, another state in the United States, dry land is cracking open. When a lot of water is pumped from underground, the earth can compact and move. This creates huge cracks in the ground, called earth fissures. These cracks can be miles long and wide enough for a car to fall in. They are like big wounds in the earth. One place, the Harkahala Plain, has many of these cracks because of too much water being taken out for farms. A scientist named Tom Myers said these cracks will never heal. This means the land is permanently changed. These stories show us what happens when we use too much hidden water. The land can sink, wells can dry, and the ground can crack. Mexico City, a very large city, is also sinking. It has sunk more than 30 feet since the early 1900s because of water pumping. Buildings like the main cathedral now lean. These problems are happening in many places around the world. They are true examples of what happens when our underground water is gone. This shows us that we need to be very careful with this important resource. 6. A hard truth. The world faces a hard truth about water. Our water problems are growing worse because of climate change. Climate change brings more droughts, meaning long periods with little rain. These droughts make it harder to find water for farms and cities. Less rain means our underground water, called groundwater, does not refill as often. This makes using too much groundwater an even bigger problem. Some believe new technology can fix this. Yes, technology helps a little. We can clean used water for drinking, or remove salt from ocean water, called desalination. Farmers can also use less water with smart irrigation. These ideas are good, but often costly or use much energy. They cannot solve the whole problem alone. They are like small fixes for a very big issue. The real problem is not just technology or climate change. The main issue is how we manage water. For a long time, people thought underground water was endless. Old rules allowed people to pump as much as they wanted from their land. This led to everyone taking what they could, without thinking of the future. These old rules are broken. They do not work for today's world with more people and less water. We need new, better rules for water. We must see groundwater as a shared resource, not for one person. We must work together to share and protect this water for the future. New rules need to help us save water and use it wisely. This will ensure enough water for everyone for a long time. Accepting this hard truth is necessary for our future. 7. New ways to think. We have seen how important water is and how we used too much. Now we must find new ways to live with less water. It is time to think differently about this precious resource because the old ways will not work. One important change is to save water and use it again. We should not let water go to waste after we use it once. For example, water from our homes, like from showers or washing machines, can be cleaned. This used water can then be used again for gardens or even for drinking after special treatment. This way, we use less new water from the ground or from rivers. We also need to use water from rain more smartly. When it rains a lot, especially during heavy storms, floods can happen. But instead of letting this valuable water run quickly into rivers and then directly to the sea, we can catch it. We can store this extra floodwater in special places underground. This is like putting water back into the Earth's natural storage tanks, called aquifers. This helps to refill the hidden water supplies that we have used so much of. Our cities also need to change how they are built. Today, many cities have a lot of hard, flat surfaces. When it rains, water cannot soak into the ground. It just runs off quickly, causing floods. But we can build cities to be like sponges. This means creating more green spaces, planting more trees, and designing parks that can soak up rainwater. This water can then slowly go into the ground, stopping floods and helping to fill our underground water supplies. These new ideas mean we must see water differently. Water is not just something that comes from a tap. It is a shared, limited gift from nature that we must protect for everyone. We need to manage water fairly for all people. We must plan for a future where every drop of water is used wisely and carefully by all. This new way of thinking will help us have enough water for many years to come, for ourselves and for future generations. 8. A choice for tomorrow. We now face an important choice for our future. We can plan for a world with less groundwater, or we can simply wait for a big water crisis to happen. This problem will not affect everyone equally. It will hit poor people and poor countries the hardest. Wealthy areas might be able to afford expensive solutions like desalination plants, which turn seawater into fresh water. But poorer communities will struggle to find enough water, and this could lead to serious problems and even conflict. For a solution, all countries need to work together. We must decide if we will manage this change carefully, which is called a managed decline, or we can do nothing and face a chaotic collapse. A managed decline means we act now. We use less water, we find better ways to save it, and we develop new water sources before we run out. A chaotic collapse means we wait until wells are dry and the land sinks, causing much damage. The children born today will live in a world where fresh groundwater is clearly limited. They will need to manage every drop very carefully. This future does not have to be bad. It can be a wiser world where we learn to live within our natural limits. We must make this choice for them. We cannot keep taking water until there is nothing left underground. The decisions we make today will shape the world for our children and their children. What do you think is the most important step we can take right now to save water for tomorrow?
Hey there! Just a second before you go. If you learned something new today, please give this video a like, write your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel. It only takes a second, and it really, really helps to create even better English videos for you. Your support means the world. Thank you.